All right, welcome back to Impulse Plays. I am Crazy Carl Winter here with Ben Landstillers, the terror of the peaks, the Adirondacks, something.
That's
How you doing, Ben?
that's a red. I'm doing I'm doing great. Really excited for this matchup. We got this kind of absurd I guess 5 color Stiflenought list. It's like
Mm-hmm.
grow it. It's like yeah, it's like grow it talk, but there's no growing. There's a lot of 12/12s getting made.
Yeah,
Um
it's more like combo tog, right?
Combo talk. Yeah, like stole this list from an older list that Fran had battled with. I was really just looking for something that I could play these beautiful Crazy Carl signed Psychotogs in, and use my dreadnoughts that had been sitting in a binder. So this list fit the bill
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm sure they were very lonely after Eternal Weekend, so good to get them out and get them going again.
for sure. And we're running that up against our buddy Chris on the Rock, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a really sweet looking deck. He's put a lot of work into foiling it out. And it's got some pretty sweet stuff. A lot of duresses, a lot of cabal therapies, call the herds. Actually, yeah, a lot of removal, just really good stuff. I really like the one of reanimate. That I mean, it's not gonna be super relevant against psych like Phyrexian Dreadnought, but you can get
Hmm.
Psychotog or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like generally a nice spicy card.
no doubt. All right, let's hop into this. So we've got Chris on the left playing the Rock, and Ben on the right playing Flingatog Knots. We'll
Oh
figure
yeah,
out the
yeah, two
name it later.
two flings, absolutely sweet. Uh,
Definitely warrants naming the deck after it.
that's right. Love love that just like high potential of just I only need one combat step and you can just kind of end the game at any point after that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A quick shout out to one of our local shops, Dragon Master Games on Front Street in Binghamton, New York, for allowing us to set up and jam games the day we did. And they're also hosting pre-modern events the first Sunday of every month and 1Ks every quarter, roughly. So a lot of good events going on. I'm hoping to up the amount of weekly events at some point if we get some more interest. But yeah, just good stuff all around. Especially this mulligan to six. I love to see Dreadnoughts mulligan to six. That always makes me happy.
Yeah, I think that's one of the tricky parts with this deck is like is this a keepable hand? How fast am I allowed to go?
Mm-hmm.
Can I will I actually be able to cast and resolve any of my spells with this kind of mana base where right,
Yeah,
running like 4 different colored pips in the main deck and 4 gush at the same time.
it's wild. I don't understand it. Like I mean, I guess I understand on an intellectual level. Emotionally, I don't get it. Maybe I'm just not mature enough for this. But
Hmm.
but any deck with fire ice is just it's sweet in my book.
Oh yeah, love me some fire ice.
So notably, Chris is not starting off with a turn one drop.
Right. Yeah, doesn't have a discard spell and doesn't have a mana dork. That's pretty good for me.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
the reason he doesn't have mana dork is they're not in his
Classic
deck. But
Oh, my
yeah, I was checking the list while I was making this statement just so I didn't see the same thing. But you have a one drop and a portent, which is really nice. Helps set up your draws, spell
my
cantrip.
statement was factually correct, I will point out.
You are correct. That is a good point. That is a good point. It is indeed factually correct.
May have also been not possible.
Maybe he cheats. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of game left.
That's right.
All right, so turn two, I think, is where Chris's deck is really gonna start to do some stuff. We're gonna see either a discard spell because he hit his black source, or a Wall of Blossoms, which doesn't do a whole lot, but it really does set up for the Cabal therapies later on. It lets him cast Cabal therapy and flash it back for basically no cost. Like, don't lose anything
Hmm.
for it.
Yeah, that's right. The creature that came in and gave you a card is definitely the one to turn into extra cabal therapies.
Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing a Phyrexian Dreadnought in your hand, which is going to be problematic for him with the little information I have about his hand.
Yeah, I think there's
Oh,
also
Chris just
a Mage
passed. Okay, he
Blade.
did nothing. Okay, so you're good to fetch here. Looking like we're looking at a
That's
meddling mage.
hmm
So I feel like with this deck, you're typically going to want to go for that second island as soon as you can because you want to get that gush online.
Yeah,
Chris
so
definitely doesn't have that in
probably
his hand.
Metal Mage. But you also gotta right, you gotta flex those Christopher Rush signed
Mm-hmm.
Blue Plains.
No doubt, no doubt. I don't recognize the island. Is that Portal Second Age?
That is Portal Second Age. It's the one
Okay.
with the Drake flying in the sky.
The Sea Drake that's not legal in pre-modern. I don't know if that island should be
Yeah.
allowed then, because we don't allow Sea Drakes here.
That's that's fair, but that's why it's a superior island.
That's fair. All right, Metal Mage comes out, and I don't
Probably
recall
named
what name here.
probably named Smother.
That would be, yeah, that'd be a good guess. If I recall correctly, I'd stepped away while you guys were playing. Okay, yeah, so got the title up there
I like
eventually.
there we go. You helped us out.
Yeah, good job, Pascal, editing that in.
Smother and that call the herd.
Did you know that 3/3s are larger than 2/2s?
I did know that, but
Yep, it's very pertinent here because that 3/3 is bigger than the 2/2 you got.
you know, the tutu's really doing its job.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely is. All right,
At least that's the
so
intent here.
yeah, main phase opt. Love to see it.
So it looks like I don't have a right. I don't have a key piece to actually keep the dreadnought in play yet. So
Right.
probably
Yeah, you don't have you don't have the enabler. Looks like you might be short on the land as well. Ship it back.
yep.
Yeah, that's rough. I like the. I mean, as much as I'd like to, ice and get in for 2, the opt does that you look at 1 extra card, which is nice.
True.
So if Chris is able to get a 4th land, which looks like he has in the form of a Dust Bowl, you're gonna be kind of under the gun here with the herd being called. I discussed this repeatedly at LobsterCon.
Mm-hmm.
That casting Call of the Herd does not in fact call the herd. You're calling an elephant. Once you have multiple elephants, that's how you get to a herd.
You have to push. You're right. You have to cast the front end and the flashback, and
Exactly.
your herd.
I mean, you can just cast to call the herds. Like that's the thing you're allowed to do too, and that calls the herd effectively.
I suppose.
Really, there's just a lot of ways to
You
call the
do
herd.
need
You just
you
need
do
2
need
elephants. You need to have 2 elephants. So
right. I suppose they don't necessarily need to be from Call the Herd if you just want to play
four
an
four
elephant.
four four is much bigger than a 3/3. I like the saving of the call of the
And a
herds.
tutu.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
using mana effectively here. Oh, looks like you have a stifle.
Gaining 4 life also not relevant against
24
12/12s
damage.
being
Yeah.
flung at you, right?
Yep. Yeah, I see the dreadnought, I see the stifle, so it looks like you're gonna go for it here. As I mean, you don't have a lot to fear. I mean, not knowing Chris's list, like you don't know necessarily that he has Vendetta, but you don't really
Right.
want to do, but it's better than taking 24.
Right. If he's gonna cast a removal spell, I'd rather he take 12 and not
Ex-
take 12.
Precisely. And the fact that the elephant is not an actual card means that Pernicious Deed, which would be great here, also kind of hurts his board. Doesn't decimate it because 1/10 of the board isn't going away, but
Right. You
it does
still have
wreck
the
it.
you still have a wipe everything I have and leave a 4/4 behind. It's not a bad
No, not
thing.
at all, not at all. I mean, basically a 2. It's like a 1.5 for 1 because you're losing half the call, and then you're losing the deed for the mage and the dreadnought, and it's also unlocking your future
Right.
smothers, which is nice. I
Mm-hmm.
think I see a vendetta in Chris's hand, and as much as I know it sucks to take 12 damage to kill a dreadnought, it again, like I said before, it's better than taking 24. So, oh, he might be thinking of going for the meddling mage to unlock smother. I don't know if I see a smother in his hand, but if he does have a smother, there's definitely an argument to be made for vendettaing the
Is
mage and then smothering later. But he doesn't have the second black source, so that's a little bit awkward.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the lack of right, you can't necessarily double removal.
Not with Dust Bowl. No, not with Dust Bowl. So Chris is at a decision point of what to do with his mana. It looks like he's going to try and be very efficient with his mana by casting, I guess, the Drain Hermit. Yeah, okay.
That's a lot of power.
That is notably not 12, but if you don't have a removal
Oh,
spell
got
for the
it.
Hermit, 4 squirrels plus Ravenous Baloth trades with the Dreadnought. So,
Right. That's right. I'm just doing some math there, right? So he's up to
mm-hmm.
right, eight power of squirrels plus the 4 power of the Baloth is
That
bigger
is
than a shrimp.
precisely 12. No, it's not bigger. It's just, with the hammer too. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so look like we got a fling in your hand. And is that a vision charm? Hard time seeing, but
Definitely lacking a red mana source at this point.
lacking a third mana source at this point. Never mind red.
Yeah, any mana source would be great.
So yeah, without I mean, I guess you could like ice or something. I don't know. I think you're just playing defense here. So it doesn't look like you have a plow in your hand. You
Right,
don't have the red source.
there's not really a great attack here, right? Like I can't just throw away the dreadnought.
No, you really can't. I mean, yeah, no, you can't. It's not. It's just not good. You're trading two for like one and a half or whatever. The hermit can just die and make a recurring nightmare back. So
He does
this is,
have a threatening amount of power to crack at me though in the next turn, but
yeah, definitely. I mean,
at least make him sink
one
five
gets
more
through. Yeah,
mana into keeping Hermit around.
right. Big portent here. Looking for a plow, which I think you play plows. So let's go back and check this list real quick. No. Oh, there's no sword splashers
I
near.
got
Okay.
plows in the sideboard.
Okay. Yes, you just don't have a great draw off of this portent coming. Gotta set up for the next turn, I guess. So maybe you just fade not dying for 2 turns? Depends on how good those 3 cards are.
Yeah, I
Alright,
think that
so
looked like a Mox Diamond in hand, so like any land can unlock all the colors.
looks like Chris is not paying the Echo on the Deranged Tournament, or we are going to remember and then remind him if he wants to pay it or not.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong, comments, but I do believe the way missed triggers work nowadays is that your opponent, if it is noticed by either player, your opponent then gets the choice of whether or not to put it on the stack. So in the case of like missing Echo, you definitely want to put it on the stack, and it just goes on the stack right then and resolves. Um, but in the case of like missing Mastercore triggers, your opponent again probably also wants to put it on the stack. It just kind of like eliminates some of the issues that used to happen, if that's how it works. I don't actually know. I just play by the rules and don't have to worry about things like that. Keep a clean game state. You don't have to worry about the rules. It's fine.
right. Yeah, Carl notoriously has never missed a trigger.
No, I don't miss triggers. I just forget to untap lands with Frantic Search or resolve Cabal therapies.
That's fair.
I just don't resolve my spells fully to their fullest extent, I guess.
Right, even after you put them on the stack.
Exactly. All right, so we're spending a long time with this Deranged Hermit in play when it's not supposed to be in play.
I think he's still debating on paying or
Okay.
not.
Okay, so he's just doing it after the fact. Okay. Notably, an unclean game state makes it much harder to effectively commentate a game because then you're confused about what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to blame Carl for probably talking to us while we're playing
Oh,
games.
almost certainly, yeah. I don't shut up. So, all right, we got the attack
Ooh,
coming
he's
in that you're
lining up
worried
an
about.
attack.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I
Like,
think
I'm,
I think I kind of need this to happen though because it unlocks my attack.
yeah, and if you have a red source for Fling, you can just kill him. So you got 8 coming in at you. So you're looking at lethal next turn ish. No, you're not, because you can block the Bailoff. I think the Bailoff should have gotten in 2. That would put you to 5, and
Mm-hmm.
then probably lethal. Yeah, lethal next turn. Yeah, just straight up lethal next turn. I don't know what Chris is hoping to avoid in that regard, but I'm just worried about the mage cracking back. I don't know.
Unclear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so
uh,
Island hits play. You got a Mox Diamond. You have a Gush to unlock the Mox Diamond.
I
Looks like you
believe I
do.
do.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay, it's gonna be float to blue. Hit him with
Okay.
the gush.
Yep.
Those are in my hand.
They certainly are. They certainly are.
Draw 2 cards.
Oh no, a land drop has already been made this turn. Looks like you drew another land. Hilarious.
Did pitched a non-island.
Yep. So you can ice like if you ice the deranged hermit here, he just has nothing because he can block with the Bailoff, but no matter what, 8 gets through, and then you fling the other 12.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do not ice the hermit here, Chris could block with the hermit, take 11, and I'm not a math person really, but 24 is not
Mm-hmm.
the same as 23, so I do believe you would survive.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about Okay, I
Okay.
think I go for ice on the Balos.
Okay. Sure.
That was with my the two floating blue.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So
Yeah, I guess you get him with the metal mage too, so yeah, I
right
guess
here,
it doesn't
roll a signal.
matter.
I believe this lets me hit and then fling for exacties through the
Yeah,
zero.
yeah, either way works because he can block the mage with his hermit, or he can soak damage with the hermit on the dreadnought. But yeah, either way the fling gets through. Looks like you're slowing him a little bit. There's nothing you can do. Just show him the fling. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, once there was a lot of thinking going on, it's just like, well,
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like Chris did have the Vendetta Smother combo that we talked about a little bit earlier. And that's a thing that non-allied colors really have to contend with in pre-modern is just not having good access to your mana, which is as we always say, a feature, not a bug. So
yeah,
otherwise
this is kind of
those
kind of interesting, right? Like it kind of came down to like yes, there's a lot of power ended up on both sides, but it
Mhm.
also kind of came down to like who hit their colors first.
Right. You had to hit that second island, which you did, and that
Mhm.
unlocked everything. And unlocked the Mox Diamond, unlocked the Fling.
Yeah.
All right, so moving into game two, Chris will be on the play. Which again, I don't think he gets a huge advantage out of, but being able to start with a discard spell is pretty good. Like getting a duress on like a portent or something can really set back the Dreadnought
Mm,
player.
right. It can like either knock off uh my whole setup or in this deck like strip all your colors away.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly, exactly. And then Cabal Therapy can be used on just like a Hail Mary to try and like knock out things like the Dreadnought really quickly.
yeah.
Um,
So looks like I've got
you got Dreadnought Charm. It looks
I got
like
two dreadnoughts, a charm. Or no,
maybe a
that's
Psychotog.
I think that was Dreadnought Mox Diamond. Is that a turn one not potential?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And Chris is looking at a mold of 6. Not where you really want to be, but that's what you got to do sometimes.
Right, not going down to five.
Okay. Let's
Ready
see
to
what he
hit.
starts off with. Again, he's looking for a discard spell. That's really what your 8 discard deck wants to see on turn
Well, that's
1.
not good.
Okay, so he goes for Cobalt Therapy, and it names Dreadnought dot dot dot. I think that's foreshadowing. Is this foreshadowing? Oh, that's foreshadowing. It hits the Dreadnought.
Oh man,
You had the
yeah.
dream. You had the
I had,
the
I
turn
had,
2
I
kill.
had, yeah, I had the turn one not and the turn two fling. Oh no!
That
And now
is
this hand
ungood.
goes nowhere.
You
With
can mill
no,
Chris 8 cards and hope he doesn't hit Call the Herds, and then maybe deck him.
and more therapies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. No dig. No draw spells. Was all in on that
Which
turn
is
one
I you
combo.
you definitely keep like you're a little soft to a duress, but it has to be like exactly Cabal Therapy to take you off the Dreadnought there.
Well, even the rest doesn't work there. It's got to be therapy because
Well, duress takes you off of Mox Diamond, so you don't get the turn 1 Dreadnought.
I guess so. But
Yeah.
I still have a dreadnought.
You do, but it's a turn 2 Dreadnought, which is
Yeah,
a full turn
not
later
as
than a
good.
turn 1 Dreadnought.
True.
I mean, it's still fine. Like I'd take it, but so
Fair.
nothing on 2. Which is fine. You could be holding up Smother or a Naturalize or something like that. Because we're post board here.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
drew a
For a
Portent.
perfect
That's
hand.
huge.
Just really need another dreadnought.
I don't think you need a second fling, which is what you're looking at there with that Portent.
Yeah. Need more dreadnoughts or a way to get to Psychotog.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, the longer this game goes, the worse it is for you. Unless you can just like randomly double fling. But that's gonna be really tough to do through Cabal therapies and duresses from the Rock player. I mean, you got the enablers, which is great. Yeah, you just gotta hit one of those 3 dreadnoughts to really get it going. Looks like Chris has one of my favorite pre-modern cards in hand, Croson Tusker. 7 mana, 6/5, cycle for 3, search your library for a land, put it in your hand. Notably, the cycling is an activated ability, and then it triggers a triggered ability. The trigger resolves first, then you resolve the activated ability. But Chris decides to not let me explain how Crows and Tusker work and go for Call the Herd instead.
Sure does.
Notably, the herd is not called yet. We only have one.
It's being called.
It's in the process of being called. Yeah, we're like definitely working our way towards the herd being called, right? Like you've got 50% of herd going right now, so
Herd's coming. All right, so it looks like I got one card off of that portent.
Yeah, you probably have a gush if I had to guess. Well, I mean, you're gonna fetch an island anyway, but you wouldn't play. You wouldn't play.
Yeah.
Plains if you had gush. So, although hilariously, you could use Vision Charm to turn your plains into an island and bounce it with gush. Okay, so we got the floating 2 blue and gushing into some unknown cards. Looks like one of them is an opt. I apologize. We do not have the production value of Andrea Mengucci or Card Market.
Yeah, still on the one camera life over here. You know.
I would like to get player cameras at some point, but it would just kind of change how we do pretty much everything. Yeah, hand cams would be sweet. Yeah. That is a lot more work than I'm willing to put into this moment, though. Okay, so it looks like you're doing some mana counting. So you got access to 4 mana here. You got 2 floating. You got your land drop, which I thought you already made your land drop. Didn't you play Floodstrand this turn?
No, I bet. I didn't play land.
Oh, did you already have the Floodstrand in play?
Sure did.
Oh, okay. Lost track of what was going on. It's too distracted by herds being called and describing how Crows and Tusker works, I guess.
That's right. It looks like opt off of one of the floating blue. There's probably still one floating blue. Yep. Another Mox Diamond.
Which you are showing in... Okay, you're playing both of them. So give me some free information here.
Just play them both.
Oh, an Armageddon. Okay.
Armageddon.
That's
Armageddon hoping... I must be Armageddon hoping for the best. I got to draw a way out of this 3/3. But...
Yeah, I mean, it slows down Chris's clock by a lot. Like, he's not going to be able to call the herd, so... It'll just be an elephant going in at you. And that's a 6-turn clock as opposed to less than a 6-turn clock. Because yeah, he had the land here to flashback the call the herd to actually call the herd, so he'd be getting in for 6 a turn, which kills you in 3 turns. Yeah.
That's right.
Nice treetop village out of Chris.
Yikes.
Notably a less nice plains or forest, but that's okay. That's okay. It can still generate the mana needed to activate the treetop village. You do not seem to have drawn lands. That is going to be problematic when it comes to casting your spells.
Lands or castable spells, apparently, despite having access to 2 Mox Diamonds.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the colors. You just don't have anything relevant to do. Like, you can cast random Vision Charms. Looks like you're doing another Armageddon, which could be good, but yeah, it's not what you want to be doing right now. Ooh, beautiful Fire Ice. Beautiful Fire Ice.
Yeah, it felt really good to be able to get those out of the binder for this.
Definitely,
nonsense of a deck list.
Yeah. Get a nice little fog there, too, out of it. Looks like you hit your land, which doesn't really matter all that much. And what are we... I mean, yeah, you're looking for... I think you're looking for Psychotog here. Like, Dreadnought is... I guess it doesn't matter. You're just looking for a threat. All right, so Crows and Tusker. Right. The cycling is an activated ability, which causes a triggered ability to go on the stack. The cycling is on the stack first, with the triggered ability on top of it of searching for a land. You search for the land, you put it to your hand, and then you resolve the cycling. Same is true for Yavimaya Elder, and I think that's the only other card that it's really relevant for. I guess it's sort of relevant for, like, Decree of Justice and Slice and Dice and all those types of effects, so...
Right, yeah, like technically you make the soldiers before you draw the card.
Correct. And you don't make the soldiers until the ability resolves, which is also important to note. Because you can be mana shorted. It's not that you cannot be needed to, you can be mana shorted, which precludes you from being able to make tokens.
Yeah, don't encourage people to play mana short. That's just rude.
Nobody plays mana short, that's fine. Card's bad. Nobody plays that card. All right, so Chris resolved his Crows and Tusker correctly.
When he wants to win.
Right, exactly. Does not look like he has a fourth mana to flashback the Call of the Herd. Looks like he's got a is that a Ghastly Demise? He doesn't like Ghastly Demise, does he? Maybe it's a Skeletal Scrying? I don't know. He's got no black sources regardless. Ooh, looks like that might be a Haunting Echoes.
Oh,
Nope, it's a
that
Wall of
sounds
Blossoms. It's a Wall of Blossoms. It's a Wall of Blossoms. False alarm, everything's fine.
Oh, he does
Also, he
have
has
a
a black source.
spell.
Oh yeah, he tustered for it. Jeez, it's been a
Wow,
while. It
Carl.
was a long weekend and a long day. Great weekend, but long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I know
We
that
got to play so many magical wizard cards with so many other wizards.
we really did. We really did. Matt enjoyed playing, or sorry, Matt and Chris both enjoyed playing the Rock, and Matt did really well with it too. He was on 3-1 going into the fifth round.
I think it was the fourth one.
Did he get to 4-1 too? That's even better than I
Yeah,
thought. But
form
then
didn't
Rock
reveal
Rock
them.
did Rock things and ended up at I think a 50% win rate. So equal to Dance Academy.
And yeah, and land still.
Yeah, yeah. Pillars of the format.
That's right.
Well, actually for
Solid.
land still, but and
Solid
we
wizard.
continue to watch you basically draw air, which is great for this elephant. Elephants love air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, another Call of the Herd, and
Notoriously, elephants are all about having air.
they really are. I mean, how many elephants do you know that don't use air? That's exactly it. They all use it.
There's none.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. All right, let's see. Look at your
All
hand
right, on to game
here.
3.
Got a plow, counterspell, portent, double
Looks like
portent
Qatar
maybe.
is getting to be on the play here. Some pregame conversation going on. Not sure what about.
Yeah, but yeah. You're looking for some cantrips to set up your draws, get some threats, get some counter spells. Chris is looking for that discard to disrupt your plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that turn 1 therapy
Absolutely
in game
huge.
3
Had that not been a thing,
absolutely,
like
absolutely brutal. There's
yeah,
could have scooped the game up there, you know.
yeah. I think Chris is like the last couple of videos we've done. He's like 2-0 for hitting Phyrexian Dreadnoughts with Cabal therapies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, looks like he's on a mulligan to 5 for game 3 though. That's tough.
Yeah, that is. He unlike well, I guess I mean you can too. You got Gush, but the Rock has a decent number of ways to recoup that card advantage. Like he can get into Wall of Blossoms and Cabal therapies. He's boarding in Skeletal Scryings. Call of the Herd is
Oh,
basically
sure.
card advantage on its own. You just bring a bunch of dudes into
Mm-hmm.
play.
Some recurring nightmare shenanigans going.
Yeah, that's probably a bit optimistic, but it'd be nice to see. I love Recurring Nightmare. Card sweet.
Me too. They're
Okay.
in the deck.
Keeping on Portent, drawing on Chris's upkeep, as is your right. And we're looking at a treetop village. Nope, just preemptively getting that man out.
That's
So
the turn 1 Cabal therapy. I assume he mulligan for.
yeah, it's probably naming Phyrexian Dreadnought. If I had to
This
guess,
time,
past Carl, are you gonna edit in a little thing
this
to tell
time not
us?
in
No,
hand.
guess not. Guess I decided it didn't matter, or I had no idea.
It was probably Dreadnought.
Yeah,
Almost
almost certainly.
guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah. There's no reason not to name Dreadnought there. I don't think.
Got another portent.
Mm-hmm.
Targeting myself.
Looks like I think I see a shrimp there, but I don't know. And are you keeping? You are. That's always the worst feeling when you're playing against the portent player or the ponder player, and they just put 3 back on top. Like, yep, I'm good to go. It's like, oh, could you not?
Could you shuffle, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair that you get to have 3 good draws in a row.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're remembering your draw on your upkeep again. Well done.
Right, not missing that trigger.
Nope.
That's pretty good.
It's always embarrassing to miss bauble / pawn triggers.
Hopefully, I'd be smart enough to like, if there is a dreadnought in those top 3s, to float it on top and dodge that.
The flashback on the
hand
Cabal
peek.
therapy. Yeah. So yeah, Chris could. Oh, he doesn't have a green source. Let's say if he had like a Wall of Blossoms here, he could peel out that counter spell.
Mm-hmm.
The Gush maybe. Gush is probably better at this point, but they're both relevant to get out of the hand. But it looks like Chris is just yeah. I mean, he's doing the classic enemy color deck things where you have 1 color mana and no like fetch lands to get the other ones out. So
Mm-hmm.
you sit and do nothing. while your opponent does whatever they feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see a Vision Charm in your hand. And you're looking to get to, I
Yeah,
think, 4 mana so you can combo and then have Counterspell
right.
back up.
And have counterspell up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Vision Charm. Yeah, it also doesn't quite let you get around that unless
No.
um because they're just gonna kill it in response to your stifle
Correct. Yeah, correct.
or in response to your Vision Charm.
Right.
Right. Oh, so do have the Shromp in hand.
Okay. Okay. All set
But
with that.
next turn, gosh, will let me get to that critical 4 mana.
Yep. And have the cards in hand. Like, it's just going to do a lot to get you where you need to be. Chris showing utter disdain for your board state by playing with his phone instead of paying attention to the game. Love to see it. Actually, I don't know what he's doing. He's probably doing something that's relevant. But did you know? I guess there's a phone on the table now, but it doesn't really matter. But I read a study that says having a phone out on a table when you're talking to somebody is an indication that you do not value their time as much as you should.
Interesting.
Because part of your attention is diverted to the phone because it's there, right? So like even if it's face down, even if it's off to the side, it's still in your area of influence. You're still paying attention to it. So I don't know how true that is, but I've been trying to be more cognizant about where my phone is when I talk to people. Life advice from Impulse Crew.
Put your phones away, kids.
Yep, put your phones away, Zoomers, and resolve your Croson Tuskers correctly.
That's right.
All right, so you got the floating 2 blue mana, playing the Gush. I think you really just got everything you need here, right? Like you've got Dreadnought,
Yeah,
you've got a protection spell, you've got a
I've got
counter
Dreadnought,
spell.
I've got an Enabler, I've got
Yeah.
Counterspell Mana.
Oh, Chris doesn't even have a
These are
smother to like tax your mana. That's
oh,
rough.
not even in response. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
tough.
rough.
Like he needed to have needed to have a spell there that I counterspell, and then have another remove
Yeah,
spell after
yeah. He's
his
got
turn.
like 7 post board answers to Dreadnought. Like that's unlucky.
Yeah.
Hits land 4. You can flashback Call the Herd if he had one, but that's a different game.
Well, even more if you count Deed, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Deed a little less useful here because you get to counterspell it, but and if I recall correctly, you have a
For
fling
sure.
here, so like you just crack in and kill him if that's the case. Getting rid of the beautiful plains. Oh no, there is no fling there. Okay, so we're just doing this a good old fashioned way. Okay, so he drew
There's
Smother.
wow.
Yeah, that's fine. Doing it here is fine. Ideally, you would probably want to do that as the rock player during the upkeep. I mean, he knows you have a counter spell, but the
Does
draw
have
step gives
double
you
smother here.
yeah, he does apparently. So the extra draw step could potentially matter because you could draw another
Mhm.
counter, you could draw a Vision Charm. I don't think that was the case here, but just as a little tip for those of you
Mhm.
that are looking to beat the counterspell players, just gotta choose the right times to try and tax their resources when their
Like
shields are
I think
down.
I did get an extra mana source into play there too. So
You did. It didn't. Yeah, it mattered. It mattered because you only had the island and the city brass. So yeah, you would have killed. You would have killed the dreadnought for sure. Unless you had like a foil or something, which I don't remember if you have a foil in that deck. I don't think you have any islands in play in your hands anyway. But all right, Chris is gonna look at what you're working with a non-duress crew stamped foil duress.
yeah,
Oh, you think
Dress
about
Crew ran
gushing
a
here?
that
They
line
really
on there.
did. Yeah, yeah. All the organizers
Yeah,
did a fantastic job. Nick and his crew did a fantastic job setting up day 2, and they put on some great coverage that I did a bit of cameo on, and just a lot of fun.
yeah, I can't believe they handed you the microphone.
That was not a good idea at all. No. All
I'm
right.
sure it was great.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. All right. So the gush gets taken. We got a pair of plows here. Chris is looking not so great with one card in hand. I mean, his lands are beautiful, so he's got that going for him.
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing with
Flexible
should be
art.
banned lands, so I mean, he's got the advantage land wise, I think. Classic take 12. Okay, that's one way to handle this. Start destroy the lands of Armageddon. Yeah, Chris had nothing coming up. Yeah, that Moldify was brutal, and he just drew air.
Yeah, this ran on. Oh, there's the crazy Carl.
Sided
I
out,
can tell.
or is that sided in? I can't tell. Oh, that's sided in
I
because you
think
boarded
that
out the
came in.
fire ices. Yeah. Okay, a bit of sideboard action here. Maybe this is an old list from Chris, but I would have brought in the full complement of naturalizes because, like, at the very least, they kill Mox Diamonds. Yeah, he did have two more Mox. Yeah, so he does have two more naturalizes here. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Take out like.
Right, just like overload on ways to kill the wait on
Mm-hmm.
ways to kill the dreadnought.
Yeah, I
Right,
think.
also hitting Mox Diamond just like shuts off like the ability to cast a lot of stuff.
Yeah, quite good, quite good. I think if you're sideboarding on Chris's side, and you got a lot you want to bring in, I would probably
Mm-hmm.
leave it in a Vendetta personally, just to diversify your removal suite against Meddling Mage. But I
Mm-hmm.
also don't play the rock very often, so I don't necessarily know. I
Yeah,
don't know how I feel
never
about
know.
keeping
Never know
Meddling.
what to take out.
Yeah, I don't think you keep deranged tournaments in along with the recurring nightmares. Like if you're looping deranged tournaments, like you were probably winning anyway. And if you're sitting with deranged tournament in your hand, like Chris was there, you're probably losing. So that
Mm-hmm.
frees up four slots there. Take out a Vendetta, take out the Reanimate.
Yeah.
That's six cards. That gets
You're
you.
thinking as Rock here, you just want to kind of play the control role.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's boarding. If he's boarding in Skeletal Strength, that's where you got to be going. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any merit to bringing in Haunting Echoes. Maybe there is. I don't know. He's got a lot of great cards to bring in, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take out the Bailoffs. So I guess you could take out like let's see. So you take out Bailoffs, a Vendetta, a Reanimate. So that's six, and then the Hermit and Recurring Nightmare Patch. That's 10. So you can bring in four Naturalizes, Smother, and the Scryings and Haunting Echoes. Like, yeah, that could be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I guess Chris is trying to preserve the core of his deck going forward, and you just
Mm-hmm.
attack with Dreadnoughts, which is a thing you are allowed to do. Well, if you stuck around with us this long, thank you all for watching. Any final thoughts before you head out, man?
No, it's a great match. I love Fling. Fling is a ton of fun.
It is pretty great.
Uh, gives you a lot of strong like erratic explosion vibes, which is also incredibly fun if you've never done that.
Mm-hmm.
People for 12, don't people for 16.
Yeah.
Whatever, ready for.
Yeah, we'll have to get some more Draco Explosion matches on camera. That'd be pretty cool. We have one versus the Dance Academy deck that we played a couple weeks ago, and it was not very engaging. So we're probably not going to record that one.
It was a close race. It was a close race.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Actually, it's true. It was. I think I got it on two both games, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you all for watching. As long as you have, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. That's it's fine. And we'll see you next time. For Ben and myself, have a good one.
Bye.